Alright, this is Ari Rios with Music Mastery, and in this video I'm going to discuss breathing, embouchure, and tone production on the trumpet. So let's go ahead and start with breathing. Of course, the only way to breathe well is to sit with good posture. So make sure, if you need to, stand up and sit down, maintaining that good posture at standing. You want to make sure you're relaxed, but also active and engaged enough to take a full breath. If you're slouched down, it can be really difficult to expand your lungs and use your muscles in the way that they need to be used. Alright, and then next we're going to talk about the vowel that your mouth makes when you breathe. Of course, we breathe all day long. We breathe before we talk and before we do all kinds of activities, but whenever we breathe to play the trumpet, it's a little bit different. So go ahead and pretend you're super tired and you need to yawn. And go ahead and pretend you're yawning. What happens to the back of your throat, around maybe the back of your tongue, the back of your throat, that area back here? Pretend to yawn. You'll notice your tongue should almost drop down and your throat opens up. Something else you can do to simulate this is say the word home. Say home. Home. Or you can say om, like you're meditating. Either way, to get that dropped vowel, you need to drop the back of your tongue to create extra space so that way you can get that lower pitch. And that vowel is the same one we want to use whenever we're breathing to play the trumpet. So whenever I am starting out and I need to work on my vowel, I say home, and then I mouth home and breathe in. So home. Try that. Home. So I'm keeping my mouth in the same shape as when I said the word home, and then I'm letting that vowel be in place as I take in air. And all that does is create more space so you can take in more air. If you say something like hi or e, that's going to be much more closed off. So listen to this. E. Super tight, right? And you're not getting very much air, and it sounds super tense, so we want to stay away from that. Whenever you're taking your breath, think home and open. And then something else you can check is with this thing we call a breathing monitor. You're going to take your hand, hold it up to your lips, and listen to the sound it creates when you breathe in. Again. And when you're listening, it might be hard to tell in the video, but when you do this at home, it should be super deep, resonant, and just kind of swooshing in. What you don't want is something like this. Of course, it's super tight up here, and you're not getting a lot of air in, so check with your monitor that you have the right vowel there. Alright, next we're going to talk about embouchure. So of course you need your mouthpiece for this, and I'll get a little bit closer to the camera. So whenever I'm thinking about embouchure, I say the word M, like Eminem, or you can also say hum. So create that word with your lips. So hum. And see what happens around your lips and around your corners. You can even hum. And you might notice that your lips are buzzing a little bit in the middle. It might tickle a little bit. And that's good because that means that your lips are going to be able to buzz whenever you put the mouthpiece on. So, and what happens when I do that is my corners of my lips, right here, they get situated in a fixed spot on my face. And my lips come together, and the muscles around here start to engage. Notice I'm not puckering out. I'm not pulling my lips in, just putting them together and situating my corners. Next, we're going to add the mouthpiece. So it's just going to go right in the middle of your lips, so not too far to the side and not too far up or down. So try that a couple times. You don't have to hum, but get your lips set and then put the mouthpiece on there. And if you're doing this for the first time, or you are a beginner, it's important that you have a mirror or a camera or something in front of you to check that your mouthpiece is getting put in the right spot. So then the next step is going to be of course, to blow through the embouchure whenever the mouthpiece is on your lips. You can even try without the mouthpiece if you like. So let's see. That's a concert B flat. I'll say M, and I'll buzz. M, and all I'm doing is keeping that structure and blowing air through it. It might be difficult to get that buzz right from the beginning, but that's essentially what's happening in the mouthpiece. It's a little bit easier when you have the mouthpiece on your face. So let's try that. B flat, M, place, and at the very beginning, I'm not even articulating with my tongue. I am just blowing air to make sure that my embouchure is in the right position. So that's going to be setting your embouchure. Next, let's talk about tone production. So I would put tone production in two components on the trumpet: focus and support. So, of course, if you're too tight, it's going to come out super, super pitched. Something like this. You might get some squirrely notes. You might not even get a note. It might just be like air. But if it's too loose, you might not even get a note. So something we want to focus on is focus. Making the column small enough that all of our air can be funneled into a tone, but making sure the column is not too tight that the note gets closed off. So you can start with this on the mouthpiece. That's our ideal sound. If you sound something like this, open up this hole in your lips. That's called the aperture. Open up the hole. So it might look like this. Make it a little bit bigger. And of course, if you're the other way, if it sounds kind of loose and unfocused, make the hole just a little smaller. So that's the first component, is focus. And then the second one is, of course, support. And by that, I mean breath support. So you need to make sure that you take a big breath, just like we practiced earlier, with the correct vowel and the correct posture. And go ahead and fill all the way up at the beginning. Take pretty much as much air as you comfortably can. Don't stress yourself out, but take a very big breath. And you want to use that air to blow through the trumpet. A lot of the time, we're not using enough air at the beginning. So if we're doing the right amount of air, it should sound something like this. On a G. Too little air, and you might get something like this. You see, the note is there, but there's not enough support to push the tone forward through the trumpet. But you also don't want to overblow. So, again, here's a good sound. But here is what it sounds like if you use too much. That's not too pleasant. So again, you want to find that Goldilocks, perfect in between amount of air. So it's going to take some experimenting. But always come back to the mouthpiece and check for that buzz. If your buzz is clear, then more than likely it's going to be easy to get a clear sound on the trumpet. And that's going to be breathing, embouchure, and tone production.